know you mad that I survived and I ain't coming down. Squad, 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 baby, look around. See me coming, we ain't slowing.
Hey girls, it's Jay, and I'm back with another video. So this video is gonna be much different. It's not a natural hair video. I wanted to invite you guys more into my life. I am a mom. I have 2 boys. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-month-old. So I wanted to help other moms with their breastfeeding journey. So I wanted to start a breastfeeding series because breastfeeding is so important to me. I did it with my first son and I'm doing it with my baby now. So I wanted to just give some tips for success for the first month of breastfeeding. So here's some tips for some breastfeeding moms who are new. Maybe you're pregnant and you're thinking about breastfeeding. Maybe you already started and it's kind of like not going too well, or whatever the case may be. But I just wanted to give some tips that helped me because I'm just going to give you a little bit of a backstory. My 9-year-old, I did breastfeed him for 1.5 years. But when things got a little bit hard, I supplemented with formula. So he was still getting breastfed, but I was supplementing with formula as well. With this, my new son, I've been breastfeeding him exclusively for 6 months. And it's been going very well. It has its ups and downs, like anything does, but it's been going well. So the first tip that I have is to take a class. Take a class. Research, talk to your doctor, find the lactation consultant at your hospital. Every hospital with labor and delivery should have a lactation consultant, whether it's a nurse who's certified in that, or it's just somebody who's completely separate. So go to the hospital prior to giving birth. We all go on not we all, majority of us go on a walkthrough. I know I did it. That's where I found out that they had the childbirthing class, and in the childbirthing class they had a breastfeeding class. But if you want some extra help, like, go talk to the lactation consultant, research online. There's so many things online. Pinterest has millions of things. Google, everything. Just research breastfeeding so you know everything that you need to know, so you don't just up and quit like in the beginning. I feel like research helps people with a lot of things. Like, before you want to start a YouTube, or before you want to do this, you always do your research. So if you come into any type of mistakes, you know where to go, or you know what to do, or whatever the case may be. Like this video, you can watch this again and again if you want some tips and tricks on breastfeeding. But yeah, like I said, do research. Do your research on breastfeeding, because breastfeeding is not just popping boob in baby's mouth and everything is all good. Like, it's a bunch of stuff that goes along with breastfeeding that I think people fail to realize. Like, when you start, you think it's supposed to be so easy, but then when you run into some type of hardship, it's like, skirt. It's about like I'm ready to quit, or whatever the case may be. Another tip, second tip that I will give you guys is to get your partner on board. Whether it's your boyfriend, your husband, your girlfriend, your wife, get them on board with what you want to do. Get them on board with breastfeeding. Because if they're not on board, it might not go too well. Because I know some people who, I know from experience, people who their partners haven't been on board, so they quit within 3 months because their partner didn't see the need to breastfeed, or whatever the case may be. Thankfully, I have a boyfriend who is very involved in the breastfeeding journey. He came with me to the breastfeeding class. I talked to him about my hardships of breastfeeding. He does his own research on Instagram. He's following like breastfeeding pages for me and everything. So just get you a partner that's completely on board and is very supportive on what you're trying to do, because it makes all the difference to have some support, to have some backing. Ask lots of questions in the hospital. There's always a lactation consultant there. So if you feel like your latch is not perfect or you feel like there's something wrong, ask a lot of questions. Even though you did your research prior to having the baby, once the baby is there, the work really begins. Like they always say, the work starts. It's hard to prepare when baby is not there, but the tips do help that you get at these breastfeeding classes. It's just hard to prepare when the baby is not there. So I would just say to ask a lot of questions. Make sure you get the perfect latch, because if the latch is not perfect, your breastfeeding journey will not be as successful as you would like. But just know it does take time for some babies to latch perfectly. These tips from this point on are things for you to put on your baby registry. Things for you to put on your baby registry to prepare you for breastfeeding, or things for you to just get on your own. I would just say put it on your registry. Have other people get it. What the heck? Get you so breastfeeding tip number 3 is get a nursing cream. Like it's a nipple cream. Them nips get sore the first week. Let's keep it real. They get real sore the first week because you're learning breastfeeding. Baby is learning breastfeeding. I know we all think that baby come out and they just know how to breastfeed. Some babies, it takes a little bit more time to latch. It takes you a little bit more time to learn to latch, to learn what positions you like to breastfeed in, all that stuff. So your nipples are going to crack. They're going to be dry. They may even bleed. So I would just say to get a nipple cream. I used coconut oil. My son's pediatrician told me to use coconut oil. So that's a tip I'm giving you. Use coconut oil. I know as a natural we all have coconut oil somewhere. Whether we used it yesterday, last year, whatever. We all got some coconut oil somewhere in our stash. So use coconut oil. Rub it on your nips. And it can go in baby's mouth. You don't have to wipe it off prior to breastfeeding. So that's a tip that I would say really works. It really helps heal your nipples, but they're gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt. Don't get discouraged because you're in pain or because they hurt. It's going to hurt. The first couple of weeks, the first month, it's going to hurt. Take it easy, relax. It's gonna hurt, but the pain will subside. We all give birth knowing that it's going to hurt, right? But we don't remember the pain. Like, it's not something we completely remember. So it's just gonna hurt. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that you just do for your kids. Another thing I would say to get is nursing pads. Nursing pads are a lifesaver because you're a new mom and you're trying to establish a supply. Per se, you're trying to establish a supply. So in doing that, your boobs are gonna leak. You smell a baby, you hear a baby cry, you just sometimes just start leaking, and instead of walking around with wet spots all over the place so people are just staring at you, just go ahead and get some nursing pads. I use the Medela nursing pads. I enjoy them. I still use them now even though my supply is established. Basically, I do opposite sides to breastfeed. So if I'm breastfeeding on my right side, sometimes my left side leaks. So I like to have the pad there so it's not like all over the place. So yeah. Another thing I would say is go to your nearest maternity store, whether it be Motherhood Maternity or what is that, Destination Maternity I think it's called, or whatever the case may be, and get yourself fitted at the end of your pregnancy for your first nursing bra. I wouldn't go crazy with buying nursing bras because you don't know what size your breasts are going to be, but I would just go and get one of the ones that kind of look like a sports bra because it's stretchy. That's what I did. I got like 2 so I could have them at the hospital, And nursing bras, I'll just show you because I have one on right now. They clip down, so that's just what it is. Or I'd say get yourself a nursing tank, which is just like a tank top like this, but it just has the same clips that the nursing bra is. To get yourself a Haka or a silicone breast pump. I have one sitting right here actually. It's a silicone breast pump, right? I will get you one of those because in the beginning, like I said, the opposite boob is going to leak. So why not just, instead of wasting milk, why not store it, right? So you pop this on one, you pop that on one boob, you breastfeed on the other, and it's leaking into the thing, and you can store a little breast milk along the way, especially if you exclusively breastfeed like me and you don't need to really pump because baby's not really going anywhere. Baby's just going to be attached to these. I would use that just to start a little bit of a freezer stash, as they call it, freezer stash. So I got this from Bye Bye Baby, but you can get it from Target, Walmart. I'm pretty sure you can get it from anywhere. I'll link a Haka down below. I'll link all the things that I'm saying down below. Don't worry. Another thing that I would get is a manual pump. A manual pump for mamas that's on the go. A manual pump sometimes is better than hooking yourself up to these two things in it. Especially if you're just doing opposites or whatever the case may be. A manual pump is something easy to have. Like, let's say you're going out for the first time with your friend. You don't want to bring the bowling ball of a pump everywhere, so you just have a manual pump to help you relieve some engorgement while you're out or whatever the case may be. Another tip I have is to talk to your insurance company about getting a hospital grade pump. Some insurance companies give them out for free. My insurance company, I got mine for free. I use a Spectra. Really enjoy the Spectra. It's the blue one. It has a little light. It has a rechargeable battery. I could charge it up in my car. All this different type of stuff. So that's what I would say. Another thing I would say is to get breast milk bags to store breast milk in. They have so many bags, I feel like, on the market right now. I use the Medela bags or the Lacino bags. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And I also use a Lacino manual breast pump. So I will definitely link it down below. All the stuff that I use, I definitely enjoy and been using it for the past 6 months, and I haven't had a problem. Get a nursing pillow. A nursing pillow helps so you're not like hunched over, because we spend a lot of time being hunched over because we breastfeed, so it sucks. But get a nursing pillow. A nursing pillow will help. I have a boppy. A boppy is cool, I feel like, for the first few months while baby is still little. When baby gets big, like my 6-month-old, forget it. A boppy doesn't work anymore. You're going to figure out new positions to use because they're all over the place by that time. But with a newborn, a boppy works. You just lay them in the boppy and you breastfeed them in the boppy. And, yeah. Another tip I have is to continue to take your prenatals. Don't stop taking your prenatal vitamin, because baby will be getting a bunch of nutrients from you, and just like during pregnancy, basically leaving you with nothing. So continue to take your prenatal so you both stay healthy. Also drink plenty of water, because you're going to be very, very, very thirsty while breastfeeding. And I I wish somebody would have told me that I was going to be so thirsty all the time. So just drink a lot of water, have some snacks, get your little self a station in your house or your apartment or wherever you stay, and have it filled with snacks and water, and you're good to go. Like, you're completely good to go. If you're having a problem with your latch, even after you leave the hospital, a lot of hospitals have like breastfeeding classes once a week. It's not even, is it called a breastfeeding? It's like, the one by me is called Lactation Mommies. Sorry. It's called Lactation Mommies. So, every Wednesday, moms meet up, they come, they talk about issues that they're having with breastfeeding. You bring the baby, you don't bring the baby, whatever you want to do. And yeah, I would find a class like that for support. I would stay away from breastfeeding supplements your first month or so, because you're still establishing a supply. And just feed on demand. Whenever baby's hungry, feed. Don't set a clock to it. Like, I know they tell you to feed every 2 to 3 hours. Some babies, my son, wanted to eat every hour in the beginning, and then it slowed down to every 2 hours, and then it went back to every hour. So I would just say to feed on demand. Don't really follow any type of schedule, but track the feeding so you know, so you're not going too long of a gap without emptying your breast. Lots of skin to skin the first week. Lots of skin to skin. Take your shirt off. Take baby's shirt off. Just lay baby on your chest, because a lot of skin to skin really does help with milk production. Our areolas smell like the amniotic fluid that they're used to. So it's just comforting. It's warm. It'll help you. It'll help baby. Just lots of skin to skin. Promote lots of skin to skin, because that'll help with your milk production. Another thing I would say is relax. First week, relax. I know it's easier said than done. I know that like, everybody's emotions are on high because it's a new baby and everything like that, but just relax. Take it easy. Enjoy the breastfeeding journey. It's so beautiful, and it's just so, I love it. I ask my friend, like, I talk about it all the time. I love it. Yeah, I just love breastfeeding. I just love breastfeeding my little babies. You're feeding, like, these things feed tiny humans. Tiny humans. Feed them, give them comfort, everything. It just works. So those are my tips for a successful first week, first month, whatever, in breastfeeding. Like I said before, I want to make this a little bit of a series, so I will be coming back with another video to talk about basically tips on, like, when your supply is established, things that I use now, tips on going out while breastfeeding. If you have any questions on my breastfeeding journey, or any questions on breastfeeding period, leave them below. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's @_Jay'sCurls if you want. I'll see you guys in the next video.